Kiyoshi's claim that advertising doubled the taste was apparently right. After being chased out to the guest house, the kids and Nanjo had gathered in the cousin's room and were eating the cake that Kumasawa had brought for dessert. It was both wonderful and high class, topped with lavish amounts of cream and decorated deliciously with fruits. I forgot my headphones. I knew I was missing something. Here to witness the 4 steps played. It's done! I did the 4 steps. I remembered. You can rest now. I forgot to listen. Yippee! I did not fail you. It didn't taste quite as good for some reason. Without Goda-san selling it, it isn't nearly as good. And if we ask Kumasawa-san to sell it, she'll just say it's made of mackerel.
Huh? Really? He can make cake from mackerel?
Oh, absolutely, and you can see with this very cake, if you mix the squeezed juice of a mackerel with flour and eggs before cooking, it comes out all fluffy.
That'd be incredible if true. Maybe mackerel cake will show up on the new menu at one of Father's restaurants. After all, mackerel's full of nutrients and sounds healthy. It might get really popular with women and the elderly. But I'm not gonna get anywhere near it. Girls won't eat something like that weird.
Even the elderly would wish to decline. But it's delicious, you know.
Kumasawa was really cheering up the mood with her classic mackerel jokes. But the sound of the downpouring rain kept turning their attention towards the mystery guest. In the end, they showered Maria with questions again, since she was the only person here to have met Beatriz. I can't believe she was actually telling the truth. You make it sound though you never believed it. This Maria meets a witch business isn't news to you. Yeah, I thought it was just one of those fairy tales you expect from a dreamy kid that age.
She exists! Beatriz exists! Every year when we come to the family conference, I meet her and we play together.
That's right, although Beatriz-sama doesn't usually show herself. I hear she sometimes unexpectedly appears before honest people with clean hearts.
Beatriz referred to the character in the fairy tale about the Ronkenjima witch. To keep Kinso in a good mood, the family and servants acted as though they believed in the witch of his delusions. That's how Ronkenjima's fairy tale, or maybe ghost story, had come into being. To the family members who knew that backstory, the fairy tale of the Golden Witch wasn't something to be taken too seriously. However, they were never able to say that out loud in front of Kinso. Because of that, the legend of the witch carried a lot more weight to someone like young Maria, who didn't know the story of how it had come into being. That's why Maria believed in the legend of the witch. She accepted it entirely. It was only natural for an imaginative girl who believed in witches. So people had avoided saying things that would betray her dream. On the contrary, they had to work together to say and do things that would help liven up her dreams without her knowing. So when Maria-chan was showing us that candy that supposedly came from Beatriz, I figured someone subtly slipped it into her handbag.
I have done similar things a few times in the past.
He doesn't have an accent.
Secretly placing sweets. Somewhere, I imagine even Kumasawa-san, or rather, all of the servants, half everyone in the Urishimiya family, have done it once or twice.
So, if it'll make a small innocent kid happy, you might place a sweet somewhere and have everyone join in on keeping the secret alive for her. Come to think of it, I bet you do that kind of thing all the time, Giorgianiki. Who knows? It'll probably be boorish to admit to such a thing out loud. George admitted it while being extremely wary that Maria didn't find out. In other words, it's kinda like Santa Claus. To protect the kid's dream, the parents plot together and lie, setting up presents at the bedside of the children fast asleep. After all, you want to protect the kid's dreams, right? Obviously, I've known something doesn't exist for a long time now. But if there's no reason to wake up from a dream like that, I wish I could have believed it all my life.
Because adults know that the world is filled with terrible things. They all want to at least protect the pure dreams of a child.
Batteries exist! Exist!
Yes, she does. Beatrice-sama does exist, right? Some time ago, when I was drying mackerel to make some black tea, suddenly...
Well, it basically goes something like this. Supposedly, at least. So, simply put, this was supposed to be a witch that no one but Maria believed in. I wouldn't phrase it quite like that. The point isn't that we didn't believe. We were all trying to give her a chance to believe. So this is about not betraying a child's innocence. But Santa doesn't exist in reality. If you don't want kids to be all disappointed when they learn the truth, you'd better off not showing them that dream in the first place. Hey! Sounds kind of familiar, isn't it? That is what I said I thought Natsuhi was doing to Jessica, trying to bury the dreams early so that she wouldn't end up like her. So it's kind of nice parallel here. Is the fact that I think like this proof that I'm still a long way from becoming a full adult? The true nature of the Ronkinjima witch was finally starting to take shape in Battler's mind. However, the current situation overrode this understanding. And in fact, to completely overturn its very premise. So we thought we knew what was going on, but now Beatrice-sama the witch has actually appeared in reality. Is that it? And judging by how freaked our parents were, it looks like she wasn't an invited guest. Now it's starting to get interesting. There's no reason for us to simply assume that a woman called Beatrice doesn't exist. It's what Uncle Rudolph called a devil's proof. None of us knew that a woman calling herself Beatrice existed. But that's not the same as proving that Beatrice doesn't exist.
Dr. Nanjo, you've been friends with grandfather for a long time, right?
At one point during the family conference, I was questioned quite thoroughly by Kraus-san and the others. They wanted to know if long ago Kinso-san might have had a mistress called Beatrice, an illegitimate child with her.
I'm so tired. I get it. Our parents have had their heads full with the inheritance problem, so of course if the daughter of a mistress like that showed up, it'll be troublesome for them.
Kraus-san and the rest probably asked Genji-san about it first.
Illegitimate child.
However, Genji-san is an aide who's sworn loyalty to Kinso-san and is probably a friend more trusted by Kinso-san than myself. I doubt he told them anything. So next they went to ask me as an old friend of his.
And when all is said and done, Dr. Nanjo, did grandfather have a lover called Beatrice?
He did. No, I have never met her. However, I have heard from Kinso-san that he had a relationship with a woman like that. He said she passed away a very long time ago.
She's dead. So did the two of them have a kid?
That I do not know. But Kinso-san always says that reviving Beatrice is the goal of his research. Usually, if one loses a mistress but has a child left behind to remember them by, they pour all of their love onto that child. Therefore, we naturally assume that there was no such child between Kinso-san and Beatrice.
It's funny because if I am right about the siblings, most of them, if not all of them, being children of Beatrice, he doesn't give a rat's ass that they are children of Beatrice. He still only cares about Beatrice. I just realized that she has on her thigh the other half of the eagle that Shannon also has on her opposite thigh. Huh. Very interesting. I'm trying to see what specific part of the ego it is. Oh. Okay, so it's weird. Shannon's tattoo is odd. Okay, so this is the symbol that Shannon has on her thigh. And this is the symbol Beatriz has on her thigh. Well, that's just very curious, isn't it? And this is okay. This is just giving more credence to me thinking that she isn't real. I've already always connected Shannon and Kanon to Beatriz because of their eye color and ties. But now the thigh thing, I don't know how, but if the 19th visitor Beatriz is somehow Shannon in disguise, because they've only been together when they have been alone. Like, when Beatriz is talking to someone else, it's Shannon isn't present. If Shannon and Beatriz start talking to each other, no one else is present. Maybe the contract of the love thing made her so Beatriz could like take over her body or something. But either way, I am... Once again, we know that Beatriz is trying to trick the reader, aka Butler. So she could have inserted these scenes with Beatriz and Shannon talking to each other. But what matters is that them together cannot be seen with someone else. So as long as that doesn't happen, I'm gonna believe that Shannon is somehow the 19th visitor in disguise. Only because of that thigh tattoo that I did not notice before. Anyways. So that leaves us with another devil's proof.
Yeah. It's impossible to prove that a child between him and a mistress didn't exist. So now that this child has actually appeared, we have to assume that she did exist after all.
That's a bit of a rush argument. It's more realistic that someone caught wind of the trouble with the Ushirimiya family inheritance, knew about grandfather's relationship with the mistress long ago, and impersonated her, trying to take a slice of the inheritance for themselves. Sure, that is realistic, but we can't deny the possibility that she really is an illegitimate child. One who lived in isolation, forgot my grandfather, and who's returned for revenge, right?
Revenge? What do you mean?
Sorry. Guys just like to add dramatized stuff to make it sound interesting. I've seen too many weird dramas. Normally that might have come off as a light joke, but the joke had landed after an uninvited mystery guest calling herself Beatriz had marched in on the day of the family conference, where the bloody argument that the inheritance had become took center stage. There was no way Butler's joke would be welcomed with laughter. So it was a really big help with Nanjo laughed brightly to calm everyone down.
I see. That does sound quite intriguing. I would love to read a novel with a plot like that.
Well, I don't think it could actually work. After all, right now on this island, there's 1, 2, 3, a full 18 people, right? If anyone tries to do something weird, they'll immediately get caught. And thanks to the typhoon, they can't even leave the island. In other words, if you try to commit some crazy crime, you'd be screwed. I agree. In a dead end without any way to escape, in a situation where everyone's really suspicious of her, I seriously doubt she could pull off a terrifying revenge drama like that.
Probably not. In that case, it would be more realistic if she had come in secret without making her presence known. I simply cannot imagine someone appearing openly to take revenge outside of some historical drama.
Well, who knows, right? Revenge is based on emotion, not logic. If you've got someone willing to go down along with their opponent, they might not be afraid of anything, not even the police or large numbers of people.
It's okay, Chisuka-chan. None of the disturbing things we're imagining will happen. Like the battle royale between our parents over the inheritance isn't disturbing enough.
That's right. Dad and Uncle Rudolph are pretty tough, and Aunt Eva's even trained in the martial arts. We'll be fine. Yeah.
Jessica didn't say it out loud, but she vaguely noticed that her own father stood in opposition to all the other siblings on the inheritance issue. They usually played nice in front of the children, but when the pretense was lifted away, like it had been at dinner, the result would be a tumultuous uproar. After realizing this, it was only natural for Jessica to be frightened at the thought that her parents might get caught up in some kind of trouble and become human sacrifices or something terrifying. Seriously, George Aniki's right. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing ever happens. Even if she pretends she's a witch, what can a single human woman who can't even use magic do? Uh-oh. I see. The sudden creepy laugh made all of them jump. And when they realized the strange laugh was coming from Maria, they were shocked again.
I see. So that's how you see it, Butler.
What is? Don't laugh all creepy like that.
You accept Beatrice's existence for now. At least you accept her as the 19th person and a guest. But that's all, right? You don't accept that a 19th person Beatrice is a witch, right?
Huh, of all the crazy things to say, of course that's what I think. Witches couldn't possibly exist. The only possibility is that she's a human woman claiming to be a witch.
Isn't that odd, Butler? That a devil's proof, isn't it? Of course witches don't exist. But just because you've never met a witch, that doesn't mean you've proven the witches don't exist, right?
That's right. You're not wrong there. I can't prove that witches don't exist. However, even if I can't prove it, I can claim it. I claim that witches don't exist.
Why? How can you claim the witches don't exist even though you can't prove it?
Because things like that don't exist.
So that's QAD? You finished your proof without any evidence or basis? Now that a typical case of the ignorant willfully ignoring the shallowness of their own knowledge, a reckless suspicion of thought.
Then there's only one way to resolve this, Maria. The witch's side needs to show some proof themselves. It's a devil's proof again. If you bring me a devil, we can end this right now. In this case, we can just get this woman calling herself Beatrice to display some wonderful, magnificent magic like the twinkling stars. All she has to do is show us something that's impossible for humans, right?
Come now, you two. Please settle down.
Kumasawa noticed that the atmosphere between them was getting worse and tried to calm them. It seemed that though Butler quickly realized that he wasn't acting like an adult. But Maria's expression didn't loosen. As she laughed creepily, she kept staring at Butler. You quit it too, Maria. Let's get back in a good mood, okay?
If that's what you want, Beatrice will definitely show you something impossible for humans. When she does, you'll believe too, okay? You'll believe in Beatrice.
Sure. If she lets me off have a look, I'll believe.
It's a chess debate between the witch and you, Butler. If you get checkmated, you'll believe in the witch.
Ah, I like the way you put that. The witch shows her magic. My king is put into check. I quibble saying it'll be impossible to reproduce her feat using measures even a human couldn't take, and my king escapes. Failing to do what would be checkmate, so that's a pretty good analogy.
Butler? In chess, you and your opponent have pieces that move in the same way, so you can predict your opponent's move. But you know what? What you aren't expecting is that your opponent's pieces might be able to move in ways far stranger than yours. You've simply assumed that since witches must not exist, the movements of Beatrice's pieces will obviously be the same as your own.
My hands are up. Masterful. That's what I've been saying. Like, the things that Beatrice is showing us, we can't just take them at face value because we assume the story is being told through normal means. Beatrice could be using her magic to trick us, to show us false memories, to show us illusions, to show us things that never happened, or, whatnot. Her pieces are moving in ways that we cannot predict, so we shouldn't be trapped in a box of thinking the story is a straight line. We should assume wilder things. Masterful. I'm on my knees.
But you know what? Sorry, Butler, but your chess partner isn't human. She's a witch. She can move her pieces in ways that humans can't. Right now, your understanding is flawed. Butler, you like Aunt Kyrie's chessboard thinking, right?
Yeah. I like the style of thinking where you stand in your opponent's shoes.
And that's why you'll get stuck. Even though your opponent is a witch, you won't accept it. So you can't understand the moves as a witch might make, and your chessboard thinking won't work. Your knowledge of your opponent is mistaken. The very first premise of chessboard thinking is broken down.
So that's your game.
You cannot win in chess against a witch.
Interesting. Minute darkness. Chessboard thing, and I thought we were just spinning around and around.
I don't know what happened after that. We servants were strictly ordered not to approach the dining room.
I see. So, Shannon, have you ever met this person called Beatrice before?
I don't know.
That was a slightly odd way to say it. It didn't quite sound as if she was saying her memory was hazy.
For us servants, Beatrice Ama is the second master of this mansion. Some people say we spread that rumor because of the master's influence. But even when I just started working here, the story of Beatrice Ama was already being whispered of.
I've heard about it before. If you don't show her respect, you'll get cursed, and at least one servant actually did meet with an accident, right?
Yes, but it's true that some people believe more than others. I believe respect for that sort of thing shouldn't be forgotten, so I have never doubted that she exists. I vaguely believe that a, shadowy being called the Golden Witch existed.
Yawning streamer, boring story, he hates it. That's true. That's true. I'm so bored. Where's Nazi? And then the witch whose existence was so shadowy and obscure actually showed herself and entered openly through the entrance hall. Is that what happened?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
When you brought her dinner, did you talk about anything? What a kid. That's your chat message. I only have eyes for Natsu. When you brought her dinner, did you talk about anything?
No, nothing.
I see. Still, a witch that eats food somehow doesn't sound so realistic. Maybe after all, it's just someone who's so... the witch lives on this island, someone who's taking on Beatrice's name. I think you'll probably come to respect Beatrice and think of her as something like a guardian or a god of the mansion. I mean, Chad, who typed that? Not even, nah. Her whole elegance is epic sauce. She is so handsome and I love her. But no. So when a person appeared actually going by that name, maybe you were a little disturbed.
That's right. I guess that must be the case.
George was slightly at a loss at what to do about Shannon's downcast appearance. Maybe not just Genji, but even the young servants who had been ruthlessly questioned as to whether they knew anything about this Beatrice person, thinking that he tried to cheer her up somehow. Surely just like Maria and Jessica. Shannon was unable to fully hide the agitation caused by the sudden visit of this person calling herself the Golden Witch. He had been so sure that was the case, but George probably had no way of looking into Shannon's heart. Shannon was bitter and sad. The door to the Golden Land would be opened. The witch had definitely told her that. That meant the demise of everything. Even if she accepted the ring from George, they would never be married now. No, in the first place. Did furniture like her even have the right to be married? Even if the witch hadn't come to signal their demise, wasn't the relationship failed to fail sooner or later? Had she turned her gaze to focus solely on those fun days spent with George while purposefully closing her eyes to the sad reality? What's wrong? You really haven't looked well for a while now.
Hey, George-san, what does it mean to be engaged?
It means making a promise to marry. But I think in that sense, it means the same thing as marriage. To be honest, I want to take you home as my wife right away. But right now, I'm in the middle of training, and I'm still a long way off having the capacity to create my own castle. That's why I want to take you home with me, with my head held high, only after I become a full adult. I'm not talking about the distant future. I just want you to wait a short 3 years. But that doesn't mean I want to lie about my feelings for another 3 years. So, I decided to give you an engagement ring. That might be a shameful reason as a man. Maybe it's shameful to get engaged because I want you to wait since I can't support my work and a wife at the same time yet. But I will definitely.
Thank you very much. I understand that to you, George-san, an engagement ring means something different than one of the many presents you give to a lover.
Of course it's different. An engagement ring isn't a simple accessory. It's an oath between lovers, a noble promise left in the form of a ring.
So, if we were to get married right away, it'd be completely meaningless, right?
Then it wouldn't be an engagement ring. I'll give it to you as a wedding ring. Either way, I'd still be giving you a ring.
So, it's a sold sign, like saying this woman is mine, nobody touch her.
No, that's not what I... George knew that he was sweet by nature. When he'd been captivated by Shannon and had sworn to become an excellent man, he had also sworn to throw away that weak part of himself. So even if he had to be blunt about it, he chose to answer a little roughly. He was sure that doing so would bolster and reassure Shannon. No, that may be true. Sayo, I'll make you my wife. I won't give you to anyone else. I'll make you mine alone, so no one will lay a hand on you. That's what this ring is, without a doubt.
Thank you very much, George-san. I'm truly happy.
Then, George-san, if it was decided by fate that this engagement ring...
that this promise could never be fulfilled, would you still give it to me?
Shannon tried to ask that, but she swallowed her words. because George had already spoken the answer. George had said it. He had said that to him an engagement ring was infinitely similar to a wedding ring. Therefore, accepting George's ring had a significance far more sacred than a promise to marry. So, I'll stop calling this an engagement ring. From now on, this isn't an engagement. It's a wedding ring.
Is that really okay? Is it okay to, just proclaim that we're married without even God's blessing?
Yeah. It's enough to tell God, Father and Mother about it afterwards. We'll tell them all that we've been married. No one will be able to undo it.
George-san.
I'm not saying this because of a momentary emotion. I'm not just looking at how you are now. I'm looking at the you of tomorrow, of the next day. I'm even gazing at you as you'll be in an old age in the future as I say this.
You're always talking about that, George-san. How about how you want to enjoy your old age slowly, surrounded by healthy children and grandchildren?
Yeah. At that time, an older you will be beside me. That is what I expect. No, what I foresee. Yes. Because that day will surely come.
Will it surely come? Is it okay for me to believe?
Yes, surely. Definitely. And this ring proves it without words.
Please, show me.
Huh? Here it is. George, thinking he was being told to show her the ring, hurriedly took out the ring box. Even though he had practiced so much, he hadn't been able to do it cool. But Shannon wasn't looking at that. In her straight and direct gaze were vague tears and a smile. She focused her eyes on George's eyes. No, on something else she could see beyond his eyes.
Show me. Show me. Show me that future.
Yeah, I'll show you. Surely. Definitely. I promise it. And not just until old age. Until we die too. Even when we become spirits, we'll always be together. Shannon wiped away her tears and took the ring box. Inside was a diamond ring worthy of blessing the two of them. George said the line that he practiced over and over again inside his head. I want you to put this ring on. Whatever finger you like. And have that be your answer. So, by tomorrow morning. I knew it. I knew she would wear the... I should have said it so I could have looked cool. I knew that she was going to wear the ring immediately this time around. I absolutely knew it. Because they're not going to die this time. They're not going to die. Okay. They're not going to die as the six chosen by the key. I think they will die in the second twilight. But maybe not. I think there's the possibility that Kanon might kill two other people. To save them might still happen. But either way, I knew that was gonna happen. Interesting. But also, if you want to think about it cheekily, in a cheeky way, because it's just a funny thing to say. I don't believe it. Because, again, I am of the mind that Beatriz cannot choose who dies. But, in a way, it's ironic and thematic that Beatriz said, if you accept the engagement ring, you will die. But she didn't accept the engagement ring. She accepted a wedding ring. So that's just a little funny hoo-hoo ha-ha there. To also indicate that they will definitely not be dying as the six chosen by the... Okay, well, no. The thing was that she specifically said they would be the sacrifices for the second twilight. So all of these indications means that they won't be chosen as the second twilight. So, okay, so here's the thing. I think my predictions of who should die by the stakes, those are the correct predictions. Those people need to die for the riddle to be solved, is what I think. Because I'm still not sure. I'm on two heads right now. One head says that to properly solve the riddle, everyone needs to survive. But on the other side is to properly solve the riddle, you need to sacrifice the correct people. Either way, I think my choices are the quote-unquote correct ones. So this time around, the correct ones cannot die. So I think Shannon and George are the second Twilight sacrifices. But this time around, since things are not going to go as planned, they will be spared. Because Kanon is going to kill 2 other people to keep Shannon and George alive. Yes. This makes sense to me. Very good. Shannon smiled, took the ring, and with a completely natural movement, put it on the ring finger on her left hand. It really had looked like such a natural, ordinary movement. And for a while, George was stunned.
This is my answer, George-san.
Shannon. No. Saya.
Even if we become spirits, we'll always be together, George-san.
There was no blessing from God, no pastor to witness, nothing. But the 2 who were married proclaimed it. 2 souls were joined here today. Cute. And interesting. Nessun, you're a fool.
Is that so?
Even though you're furniture. I'm
not furniture. Not anymore.
Liar! Why are you fooling yourself? Even though you know you can never become human. 1 second. Back. My cat was calling. Even though you know you can't become human unless you go to the Golden Land. Knowing that, why did you abandon the promise that would let you go there?
Alright. By accepting the ring, the promise with Beatrice-sama comes to nothing, doesn't it? I'm sorry.
From now on, I, you, George-sama, the master, and everyone else are under the same conditions. 13 people will be sacrificed. Only 5 people will be invited to the Golden Land. And you rejected one of those places yourself.
That's odd. It looks like you're the one with regrets, Kanon-kun.
You're the one with regrets, aren't you, Nessun? You got engaged, right? Even though you knew it was a fate that would never be fulfilled.
Yes. I promised that we would always be together for eternity. So you know what? In that instant, our eternity was completed. Even if we become sacrifices, it's already completed. So it's okay. Kanon, you're the one who actually has regrets. We're furniture, right? You'll be freed no matter the result. So it doesn't matter whether we go to Golden Land or not. And yet, you're set on going there. You want to become human no matter what, right? Why?
Because I want to become human. I've had enough of being furniture.
Why?
I wanted to fall in love too. Tears were coming from Kanon's eyes. And he howled. I liked Milady. And after seeing Milady that day, I started liking her even more. And when I heard that Milady also liked me, I was really happy. But I'm furniture. I can't accept Milady's feelings.
You're wrong. We may be furniture. We may be less than human. But that doesn't mean we aren't qualified to love.
I thought that if these feelings wouldn't ever come to anything, I'd be better off not having them. I just decided that eventually I disappeared and that I'll definitely hurt her. No, that's wrong. I was just frightened. I was just afraid, thinking that any love that couldn't be eternal was best avoided.
Even though their lives last only a few weeks, cicadas fall in love and then vanish. But you'll never find a cicada that refused to fall in love simply because it'll end in a few weeks.
And was still muttering his regrets, but by now it was all jumbled up with sobs. That witch is detestable! Why did she plant these feelings in me? If only she hadn't pulled that bizarre prank, I wouldn't have paid milady any notice.
Beatrice-sama is detestable. To make you cry bitter tears, she played games with your fate. But I don't think things went as the witches expected. After all, knowing love isn't a regret that ties you to life. It is a destination we're supposed to reach in our journey through life.
It hurts. Everything hurts. It hurts. Oh, wait. That's a really good line. But now this is actual real batteries. This is the batteries. Okay. Listen and learn. +2 voice acting slam and tested rage. I use my hands a lot, and no one will ever know except there because of the noise. 1 second. Thank you though. I'm back. Well now, Kanan. That promise you worked so hard for has now come to nothing. Very well then. With this, the conditions for all of the pieces are the same. There are 18 pieces. 13 will be offered as sacrifices. Who will be the 5 survivors? Or else, will someone destroy this ceremony? Whom? How? This isn't a chess problem. It's a game on an equal footing. I won't be cornering you one-sidedly. You'll be able to frantically escape my advances and force a tie, an invalid match. At any rate, I doubt you can manage more than repeating that over and over. And it probably won't be that difficult for you. However, this invalid match will continue forever until it eventually wears down your mind and kills it. That is when you'll accept your defeat and surrender to me. There's a reason I said it was a game on an equal footing. That's because rules are for my laws. That's because rules for my laws have also been established. There's nothing as boring as a game you can't lose, right? As for how to defeat me, that would be the epitaph that stands as an offering to my portrait. It's both the way to open the door to the Golden Land and the key to destroying my ceremony. I'll try to complete the ceremony in accordance with the epitaph. You'll try to solve the riddle of the epitaph, destroy the ceremony and overthrow me. Solve the riddle hidden in the epitaph and expose the location of the vast sum of gold I give Kinsom. What result will this game show us? I'm expecting a good fight, okay? Entertain me! Ushira me a battler! Oh? What is this? Okay.
I have no objections. Natsui and I acknowledge it.
I can't believe it. And I don't want to. But this is the truth, isn't it?
Natsui, choose your words more carefully. She's this family's most honored guest.
I also acknowledge it. Can't argue back.
Yes, I acknowledge it. I have absolutely no complaints. I can't believe you actually. You have my honest respect. Me too. Incredible. I don't know, I have a feeling like maybe they're talking about Shannon and George's engagement, but the wording is very odd. I genuinely respect you, so I have to acknowledge it.
I acknowledge it too. I still can't believe it. Still, what can I do? You've proven doubles. It's your victory.
Okay, no, okay, it was about her. Okay, okay. The Umi foolers in your wall, no, don't worry, streamer, thank you. I'm glad my motions have gone noticed. Streamer, that is me. No. The devil's proof was a convenient excuse you liked using to handle unprovable matters, but now it's become your mortal enemy, has it not?
Don't torture me, mighty witch. I've already acknowledged you. I resign.
Kairi, do you still have objections? I must have everything in agreement. If you alone will not acknowledge my existence. As the witch laughed boldly, the siblings started getting frantic. They were afraid of displeasing the witch. Very interesting. Natsui herself didn't acknowledge it. Kraus acknowledged it for her. And she specifically says she doesn't want to. That's my goat. That's my goat. Kairi lightly closed her eyes and after keeping silent for a while opened her mouth. My apologies. I resign. Only Kairi had faced the witch with stern eyes into the end. However, this had only resulted in her refusing to accept the truth for a short time. The truth, the being that was before her eyes, couldn't be denied. Devils had already been proven. I also acknowledge it. You are Beatrice, the Ushirimiya family alchemist, and a user of great magic. I must acknowledge the fact that you are a witch. Well, I object! I do not acknowledge it one bit. You're nothing. You are a great magician. You're just all smoke and mirrors. You're nothing. You are nothing to me. You are less than an ant on my shoe. I object. 1,000,000 times do I object. I played Ace Attorney. I played Danganronpa. I can solve everything. I can solve everything with probability. Yes, with probability. With human probability. Probability. With human probability. Because Bernkastel gave me 1% of her power. You're nothing. Scum. Fake. Fraud. Falsity. False image. I have everything. Everything in my mind. Everything makes sense and everything does not require magic. Okay, well, like... Nah, it doesn't. That's the thing with me. I don't deny magic. I think that magic is involved because obviously Beatrice is using magic to trick us. My thing is that I don't believe that Beatrice is involved in the murders, in the riddle, or the sacrifices. All of that were made by human hands. Not with magic and not by her. That is my only thing that I'm refuting. I am refuting that she was involved in the killings. How very quaint. One more scene and stream over. Halloween. The second day. Time to see who are the 6 chosen this time. What is that sound that always fills my ears? Is it the sound of the rain? The sound of the waterfall? Could it be radio static? If not, I want it to be the sound of blood flowing through my body. I want it to be the sound of the blood circling through me, telling me that I am still alive. Okay. So Kinso lives. Let me write everyone down. Kinso. I'll write Beatrice even though she doesn't count. Beatrice, Kraus, Natsuhi, Jessica, Eva, Hide, Yoshi, Georgie, Rudolph, Kairi, Butler, Nanjo, Rosa, Maria, Genji, Shannon, Kanon, Goda, Kumasawa. Okay, that's everyone. So, Kinso lives. Beatrice, obviously, she's gonna be alive. It would be really fun if Beatrice was one of the chosen, but no. Kinso, Beatrice, Kraus, Natsui, Eva, Hideyoshi. This bit is not worth it. I'm done typing. It was a good effort. +1. My theory is that you're writing all these names in the death note and causing the murders. That's pretty good. No, never mind. +2. Back to +2. That was a good bit. But no, I would not have included Natsuhi in that case.
Is it morning?
The light entered through the crack in the curtain was faint, but it at least told him that dawn had broken. Kinso, still in the position he had been when he woke up, was still sitting in a chair and looking up at the ceiling, felt the blood slowly traveling throughout his body. I don't know, I'm quite tired, and it's almost 3:30. I'll continue for now, but I don't know if we'll reach the murders. We might have to edge. Judging by the clock, it was early morning, 6 on the dot. No matter how tired he was, no matter how deeply he slept, he always woke up at exactly this time, as though he had measured it with an hourglass. He didn't think of this as something to boast about, but he told himself that, as long as he could still manage this, his health couldn't be that bad.
Morning has come. Which means... It would appear that I might be becoming one of the first sacrifices. Was I merely lucky when the roulette was spun, or is this the fruit of my efforts? How irritating that I cannot tell the difference, that I mustn't be bothered by such trivialities.
Kinso was struck by a faint desire to see beyond the study door. After all, he might find the traces of someone's vain struggle to break through the door, a sign that someone had tried to select him as one of the first 6 sacrifices.
Humans are cheap creatures. Even though everything is ultimately decided by God, when humans are given good fortune, they arrogantly feel it was due to their own ability.
That was why he wanted to check whether there was a wretched mark on the door. The very desire was human. And that was why Kinsel did not check. He often rejected desires that came to him because he was human. By doing that, he could be immersed in a feeling of sufficiency, as though he himself had become a being that surpassed humans. He recognized human desires for what they were, and guarded against them. Things that a human would want to do, he resisted. This eccentricity and rebellious nature had surely given him a rare genius, making it possible for him to succeed in the exploits as he revived the Oshirimiya family in a single generation.
Well then, Beatrice. What were the 6 pieces? What were the 6 pieces you took? And what will your next move be? Entertain me. My defense is perfect. I will not shame myself like last time.
The servants woke early. They had to open the curtains, prepare breakfast, and complete various other tasks to welcome the guards to a new day. The guests to a new day. Goda lives. Goda was the most enthusiastic. During the family conference, he had been told to concentrate his efforts especially on cooking. And he'd been specifically exempt from several tasks that servants normally must do. Goda, who was a show-off, seemed to be feeling particularly superior because of that. He let Genji and the rest prepare the rest of the mansion and worked on making breakfast in the kitchen. Genji split the work with Shannon and Kanon as they carried out various tasks. I mean, I don't know. I won't write them off until I see them. So for now, Genji lives. Shannon headed to the dining hall and knocked. Okay, Shannon lives. Last year, the family conference had continued to the early hours of the morning. It wouldn't have been odd if this year's conference had done the same. Considering the possibility that they were still having a discussion inside, she knocked. But there was no response, so she opened the door and said good morning. Is it really gonna be this fast?
Good morning. Is anyone there?
The room was cold and the conference seemed to have ended a long time before. There was a tea set on the table from which they'd probably been drinking, arranged in a way that would make it easy to clean up. Cleaning up the tea was a servant's job. If the family members were extra generous and cleaned it up themselves, the servants would lose face. So it was a truly pleasant act of kindness for the family to do only this much. As she approached the table to clean it, she noticed something like a memo that had been left near the utensils and cups. Since it was right next to the tea set, Shannon picked it up, naturally thinking it was a memo for the servants doing the cleaning. Written there was not a request, nor was thanks for preparing the tea. There was just a single word. Shannon looked at it blankly and read it out loud.
Chapel. Huh?
Right, because the thing they didn't show was Rosa reading out the envelope in the conference. They didn't show that. So they heard about whatever the envelope said, probably told them to go to the chapel, and then they all acknowledged Beatrice. But all of that could have been smoke and mirrors. A small sound kept repeating over and over. Normally that sound would have been too trivial to be worth caring about. If only I could stop hearing it soon, I could go back to sleep right away, she thought vaguely. But no matter how much time passed, the sound did not end. It repeated over and over. Shut up. Who is it? Banging on the door this whole time. As soon as she realized that, she woke up. Someone was knocking. Then she noticed that it wasn't just a knock, but a voice as well.
Rosa-sama. Rosa-sama.
Okay. I'm gonna write Rosa off already. She was at the chapel, if that really happened. And yet she lived.
Good morning.
Wait, I'm coming now. It had been Genji's voice. Looking at the clock, it wasn't even 7 o'clock yet. It was clearly too early to wake the guests. But something happened that was bad enough to cause this. She felt her sleepiness increasingly fade thanks to the premonition of misfortune. Though Genji was a servant, Rosa had known him since her childhood days, so even though she was slightly defensiveless in her pajamas, she opened the door a crack and answered.
Good morning. I apologize for waking you this early.
Did something happen?
Yes, actually, at the chapel.
Genji whispered something into Rosa's ear. For a second, it seemed Rosa couldn't understand what she'd been told. I think I'm gonna stop right here. Because I have a feeling that something happened. And I want the other two Umi Foolers to be here for when I gracefully call out that I will be uninstalling the game and dropping it if my premonition is correct. I will be stopping here. I will be stopping here. The edging of all time. Because before, Genji seeked out, the person closest to the head of the house. But the fact that he instead went after Rosa this time, farewell to all, and thank you for watching. Thank you, subs, and any lurkers about. May you have a wonderful night. Next stream shall be the last. Farewell, and good night.